When I'm scanning in store, the sales rank is actually the very first thing I look at because that's all that matters to me. If it doesn't have a sales rank or a sales rank I like, I don't even click through to the other page. I want to know that it's a good sales rank and worth it before I spend any more time looking at the product. Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. I'm a small town girl who took a big risk and quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the US in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew a 7-figure business, visited all the lower 48 states, bought a farm, and today I am still doing what I love to do, selling on Amazon while helping other sellers do it too. Each week, I will share Amazon tips and tricks and bring in guests to share their stories, expertise, and tips on the platforms that they use. Think of this as a sit down with your Amazon bestie where you can learn, ask, start, and grow your online selling business. Welcome to Your Selling Pod. Hey crew, and welcome back. On today's episode, I'm going to walk you through sales rank and what I look for in various categories, as well as when the amount of Amazon FBA sellers or sellers in general really matter. These questions come up in some of the Your Selling Guide groups on Facebook, so I have a couple of examples that I'm going to use to help explain it and walk you through it. So Jay asked, if an item has 25,000 rank, 20 FBA sellers, would you purchase it? Now, this question was leaving off some key details, which was, what was the category that the 25,000 rank was in? Now, we found out through chatting in the group what category it was in, but first I want to talk about why it matters. Now, there is something like 25,000 subcategories on Amazon. There's probably even more. But what we as Amazon sellers care about are the main categories. So for example, baby dolls is a subcategory of the top parent category or main category of toys and games. The subcategories can and do drill down all the way down to minuscule little things, but all we care about as Amazon sellers is that top main level or parent category. And why do we care about them? Because items have sales ranks. Also called BSR or bestseller rank. You might hear it referred to either way in writing or in video. And those are the top level categories. So that number, that sales rank, takes into account all of the items within that category. And the lower the number, the lower the sales rank, the more units of that product are selling. So the number one item in any category is the best seller in that category. Then it goes down from there. So the higher the rank, the less it's selling. So top level categories with fewer items in them mean the highest rank that you can comfortably go up to will quickly be a lower ranked number. Now let me break it all down really fast. Top level categories with fewer items in them mean that the highest rank that you can comfortably buy something in and expect it to quickly sell is a lower rank. Now when I say quick, when something's going to sell quick, what I mean is it's going to sell in 2 to 3 months. I'm not talking about lowering the price and trying to flip it fast, make a quick sell. I am talking about making money on Amazon, consistently making money and lowering the price. A penny drop, a 50-cent drop, a dollar drop is the fastest way to actually not make any money on Amazon and make your life a lot harder. If you are price tanking, that means you no longer have an item that you can replan and sell all day, every day. Now you have a price tank happening, the race to the bottom, and now you're going to make a couple pennies instead of having dollars. So why flip something for a couple pennies when you can be rolling dollar bills all day with a replan that you don't have to work as hard for? But that's a podcast for another day. So we're going to get back into when I'm talking about items selling quickly in categories. When it comes to the bestseller ranks, how many items are in a category matter. But you don't actually have to know how many items are in a category, but I just want you to know that it matters because it'll make sense in a second here. I will save you some of the work and just highlight the differences. So books. Amazon started as a book seller. They have millions and millions and millions of books. They are still probably one of the biggest booksellers. I didn't research this, but I'm going to guess that they're probably one of the biggest ones. So even though they have everything under the sun now, they still have a lot of books. So you can go in books comfortably up to 1 million in rank. and know that that product will probably sell, that book will sell within a couple months. But any other category, if you went up to 1 million in, that product is stale. That product is probably not moving, and it won't move anytime soon. Because the other categories don't have nearly as many items as the book category. So there's millions and millions of books, but there's not millions and millions of baby products. You're going to hear me talk about comfortable rank, and what I mean by comfortable rank is this. So as a retail arbitrage seller, I want my items to sell ideally within 3 months. With FBA, this is a lot more important than it is with FBM, because with FBM, you can have your items sitting on your shelves, or like me in my shed, for as long as you want to. But with FBA, while you won't start to get long-term storage fees after 3 months, you will have something considered excess inventory if it's been in the warehouse for over 90 days or 3 months. And that can affect and does affect your IPI score when you have too much excess inventory. Your IPI score is your Amazon FBA Inventory Performance Matrix. And if it gets to be too low, it can in turn affect how much product you can have at your Amazon warehouses and your storage spaces. But I have a full video of that on my YouTube, which I will link in the show notes here, so you can see more about what IPI and what it affects it. I don't say all this to scare you, but I just want to say, like, obviously as a retail arbitrage seller, you can't have stuff sitting in Amazon warehouses forever, even as any kind of seller you are, because Amazon doesn't want you to have it sitting there forever. They want it to be moving within 90 days. So when I'm talking about selling comfortable ranks, these are items that are going to sell within that 90-day time period. So comfortable ranks. I actually have a free downloadable guide on my website where you can get the list of comfortable ranks both for the Amazon marketplace and Canadian marketplaces. It also has like a bunch of other freebies included but it breaks down the comfortable ranks, the highest rank in any category that you should go up to as a new seller. So when you scan an item and you see that it makes a profit, you can look at the rank and see on my guidelines what I have as the highest rank, and you'll know you're good to go. You don't have to do any more thinking about it. If you scan something that has a higher rank, but the profit is too good to pass up, just consider listing it FBM instead of FBA. But just a reminder that if something doesn't sell, that profit isn't real, right? You have to sell it to make a profit. So just because the profit looks promising does not mean you're actually going to get it if it doesn't sell. My comfortable rank guidelines are really to help you in a couple seconds to know which ranks are good and which ones are going to sell. Once you get comfortable sourcing and selling, by all means, you will have your own comfortable ranks. This is what I used when I started, and it's what I recommend for other sellers when they start, just to know, like, easier. It's like taking one of those things that's already hard. You're learning a new language, you're learning Amazon. This just makes it easier so that it's something you don't have to think about it until you get to a place where you have the time to think about it. After a while, you're just going to know, I will go up to this amount in this category and this amount in this category. Believe me when I tell you, if you're a new seller, you will get to know your ranks and you won't need this guide anymore. But if you want it when you start, it's a free download. There's nothing quite like that sound of a new order coming through on your Amazon account. But do you know how much you're actually making on those orders? Your Selling Podcast is excited to partner with Sellerboard. Sellerboard is an accurate profit analytics for Amazon sellers as well as eBay. With just a quick login to the app or your dashboard on a desktop, you can see what your true numbers are for all of your Amazon orders by the day, week, or month. I love to use it to forecast out how I'm going to do that month and use it for my planning. Sellerboard doesn't just tell you your profit, though. They actually do so much more. So if you're creating a private label listing or you're making your own bundles, you can use Sellerboard to get reviews for your product pages. Sellerboard is a robust profit analytics tool, and I use it every day in my Amazon business. You can try Sellerboard yourself, connect it to your Amazon or eBay accounts, and see how it works for you. Get 2 months free by going to yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit. Again, that's yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit. Try Sellerboard today and get the true profit picture of how your business is doing. Okay, so back to the question. If an item has 25,000 in rank, 20 FBA sellers, would you purchase it? So a rank of 25,000 in toys, grocery, health and personal care, that is an awesome rank. and that thing is going to sell. There are a lot of items in those categories. I actually will go up to 200,000 in toys, 150,000 in grocery, and 250,000 in health and personal care. But a rank of 25,000 in baby or even in the pet category, that is not going to sell very fast at all. Those two categories specifically, pet and baby, have a lot fewer items in them than the toy or the personal care items. So that in turn means that the highest comfortable rank you can go up to in those categories is going to be a lot lower of a number. It turns out Jay's item was in the grocery category, so for me, 25,000 in grocery, that is an easy yes. I don't even care how many sellers are on it. When an item is low rank in good categories, it's going to sell fast no matter how many different sellers are on it. Those sellers will change and sell out fast as well. So that's just an easy one. After 6 years of selling on Amazon, I already know that rank is great. That rank in grocery is awesome. I'm going to buy it. However, there are some categories that even today, I don't always know what a good rank in those categories is. So what I always suggest if you're a new seller or you just don't know if a category is good is to utilize Jungle Scout. Now, this is a free part of Jungle Scout. Hear me when I say it's free. It's junglescout.com/estimator. That's how you get to it. That's how you get to the free part. junglescout.com/estimator. I will link it for you in the show notes. But for my first 2 to 3 years of selling on Amazon, I used it so much. It's on my favorites on my phone, on my web browser, because I use it in store all the time. I'm going to say it one more time because I get this question all the time. Jungle Scout has a ton of paid things, paid offers, paid things you can buy it. But this is free. You do not have to pay Jungle Scout any money. It's junglescout.com/estimator. So all you do when you pull up that URL on your phone or on your desktop is you would put in the rank of the item that you're wondering about, the marketplace that it's in, because that does matter, as well as the category. I discovered that Canada has way different ranks guidelines than we do, and the simple fact is that they're lower because there's a lot less items on the Canada marketplace. When you hit enter on Jungle Scout Estimator, it will tell you how many of an item is going to sell at that rank, and then you will know. So it's just estimating based on that sales rank in that category in that marketplace how many you're going to sell a month. So you might see 30, you might see less than 5, so it's the symbol less than 5, and then it's going to say that's the low it'll go. It'll never say 0, it'll always just say that. So if you see that, you can just expect that it is not selling. Again, if the rank is on the lower side, that means it's a good rank. Number 1 seller is the best selling item. So 700 in any category is going to be great. But when you get up to 150,000 in categories, you're getting a little higher and you want to know, is that category okay to go up that high? So if an item has a good rank, I really don't even care. I don't go over to Jungle Scout. I just know. I don't look at how many different sellers are on it because I already know that the item is going to sell and those other sellers are going to sell out and I'm going to be one of them. Now, when an item is creeping up in a category with higher ranks, that's when I take into consideration how many sellers are actually on it. And I'm not looking at all the sellers specifically. I usually am only looking at FBA sellers because most of the time my products are FBA, and FBA will usually still win the buy box over FBM, but that is changing in the last year or so. Now FBM actually gets equal time in the buy box along with FBA, but there are some factors that matter. It matters who has actually stock available to sell. So an FBA seller with stuff transferring around the warehouse, that seller is not actually going to win over an FBM seller because an FBM seller is ready to ship right now. But if an FBA seller has stock ready to ship, they will usually win even if there's an FBM offer that is a lower price because the FBA seller's stock is ready to ship from the warehouse. The customers are going to get their prime offer. They're going to get it fast. Amazon always is going to prioritize the customer experience first. They are always going to prioritize that so that customer experience is good when they get fast and free shipping or cheap shipping. That's a priority. So I sell predominantly FBA, so that would be what I'm looking at first, but I'm also looking at FBM sellers and how fast they're going to get it to me. So you do want to take these into consideration when you are digging into looking at who is selling it and are they a seller that you would actually compete with. So if we were saying that this item in question was $150,000 in grocery and it had 20 FBA sellers, I would absolutely care because those are kind of a lot of FBA sellers, but there are things to look at. It's not just 20 sellers. If I'm in a hurry and I see a lot of sellers on a high ranked item, I'll just pass on the item in general. But if you do want to look into it further, if it has a good profit or you just want to take the time to learn a little bit, here is how you can deep dive into seeing who is a competitive seller. Not all of those 20 FBA sellers will count. Just because it says 20, you only care about those who are buy box eligible. And again, to be eligible, it needs to be shipping fast and free and in stock right now, but it's also going to be within 5% of the buy box price. So again, in that example, if we had 20 FBA sellers, I really only care about the FBA competitive sellers. And an FBA competitive seller is anyone that's got a buy box eligible price. So within the 5% of the current buy box is the buy box eligible rotation. So who of those 20 would I be competing on if I listed that product? Now we're going to dive into a specific example. So I think we all know that Sonic figures and toys are hot products, right? If you didn't know, now you know. But please know that Sonic listings get pulled down for toy compliances so fast. So just be careful if you are going to list a Sonic item to go ahead and list it FBM or pay attention because it might get pulled down for toy compliance documents. And then you have stranded inventory and all that fun. So I pulled up a listing for Giant Eggman Robo Battle Set. The ranking is 5,000 in toys, which is an amazing rank. That toy is going to sell fast. So it has 126 FBA sellers, but do I really care? No. I would still buy it if it makes a profit because, again, that's a great rank. So using Jungle Scout's free estimator, I can see that at that rank of 5,000, it's actually going to sell 1,800 a month. But let's say we do care. Let's dig into the FBA sellers and see who we consider to be a competitive seller. The first thing you got to do is break out your calculator. So the current buy box price is $29. So what is the competitive price? Buy box eligible sellers are going to be anywhere between 5% of that price. So we're going to do 29 times 1.05. That would be the 5% of the buy box. When you do that on the calculator, you're going to get the price of $30.45. So anyone who is priced $29 to $30.45, or if we round up to $31, any seller that is in that price range is considered competitive. So now we're going to pull up the listings of sellers and see who is competitive. You can click on the Amazon app or you can go see the sellers on your desktop, wherever you're looking. So we've got the first two are used and collectible, which we are not considering as competitive because we are listing as new and those aren't in the same category, right? The current buy box seller, again, has the item for $29. And if I were to order it today, I'd be getting it in 3 days. I live in the country now and nothing comes next day for Amazon, which is real sad. Wah wah. But the first seller who I actually see is at $28.99, a penny cheaper. They're an FBM seller, but they're not in the buy box. Do you know why? Not only does price tanking not make you a winner of the buy box, they are creating a race to the bottom for no reason. Because if I were to purchase their offer for a penny less, it wouldn't get to me for 10 days. And remember how I said Amazon prioritizes fast, free shipping. They prioritize that customer experience above all else, above that price tanking. They care about the customer, and the customer getting something fast is what Amazon is all about. So after the price tanker at $28.99, we have the buy box holder at $29 even, and then there's one other seller at $29.99. After that, the next seller is $32, which is above our 5% of the current buy box. So it's worth noting that since this item is actually ranked 5,000, it's going to sell, and probably by the time my item gets there, these other sellers are going to be sold out. So since it's going to sell so fast, again, that's why I don't really care how many other sellers are on it when an item has that low of a rank. But again, we're pretending that it actually has 150,000. So now Jungle Scout is saying at 150,000 rank in toys in the US, it's only going to sell 30 a month. Now that's not bad. But if all of those sellers, again, there's 3 sellers who are competitive plus me, so I'm going to come on the listing, so that's 4 sellers total. Now, if we divide 30 by 4, we're going to get 7.5, or let's just round it down to 7 items. So I can hope to sell 7 in a month. Again, Not bad. But the current buy box holder, they have 150 in stock. And then that $29.99 seller, they have 24. Do I really want to spend money on something today that will make a profit for me in 3 to 4 months? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. That is personally your call, but you can use all these different data points to help you make your decision. And if you are in a new seller or if you are in a crunch and you don't have a lot of money, you probably don't want to buy something that is going to take 3 to 4 months to sell. You probably want to buy something that's going to take a month or two to sell. This is how you can use all the data available to you right on your phone in store to make your smartest buying decisions. Now, how I know how many each seller has in stock is with the Keepa app, or if you're at home, the Chrome extension of Keepa on your laptop. Keepa is a paid software, but it is an absolute must for sellers, and it will help you from making bad buying decisions, and it's not all that expensive, and if you do it the yearly rate, you even save more. One of the ways you should use Keepa is by looking at the sales rank and its history over time. So the sales rank changed throughout the day. As an item sells more of another item in that category, the sales ranks are going to change and go up or down. Using Keepa, you can see, did I just happen to scan it when it sold? If the answer is yes, Keepa will show you, because you will see that over time, over the last couple weeks or months, it was actually up in the 500,000 rank, nowhere near the 150. So I happened to scan it in store when one had just sold, and that's why the rank is bad. But odds are, if the item over time was up there in the 500,000, it is going to go right back up there in a day or two. So now your item is not selling, not because of the competition, but because it's a high rank and slow selling item. So now if you think about the fact that all those other sellers on it had a lot of stock and it's not moving, that is maybe something that you don't really want to buy. So if you're looking at a product with a rank that you are comfortable with, but you're thinking, oh my gosh, there's 126 sellers on this. Should I buy it? Why would I even buy it? There's actually not 126 competitive sellers. There's only 3. So then you can dig in and see who's actually competitive. So don't let the number of sellers just scare you off by just the number. You really want to dig in. Now, if you're a new seller, this is going to sound like it's a lot, like, really, Nikki, you're using all of this, you're doing all of this on every item you scan. No, because I've done it in the beginning when I was learning, that now I can literally do this math in seconds on the fly in the store. So I'll know that rank, that category, that many sellers, I don't care. But oh, that rank in that category, that many sellers, now I do care. And I am going to take a minute or two to investigate further on seeing if I want to buy it. Here is another example from one of the groups. So this is something that someone shared asking the following question about a toy. I'm going to break it down and explain it because it's a really good example of things that happen. And sometimes I still do this if I'm not paying attention and I'm kind of on a rush. So the item in question actually has a rank of 600,000 in toys. So again, that's not a great rank in toys. In Jungle Scout, it actually says it sells less than 5 a month. So again, that means 0. So that's too high of a rank in toy. But what happens is, and how I can see how it can happen, is you see it. I can get this item for $8 and it makes $36 profit. That's amazing, right? You want that. Why wouldn't I want to buy something for $8 and make $36? All day, every day, I want that. But if the product is too high of a rank, it's not actually going to sell. So you spent $8 and you might not ever get that profit because the thing might not ever sell. So if you're losing money with the fees and it's sitting in the warehouse, you really want to say, is that item worth it? Because again, you don't get the profit till the item sells. If you ask anyone who's selling on Amazon, their newbie mistake, everyone makes it, is buying something either that didn't have a rank or that the rank was really high or not paying attention to the rank. I occasionally still do it today. I will get something home and I'll go, wait a second, why did I buy this? Because sometimes it just happens. Either you bought it, I bought it in a rush, I didn't check Keepa, the rank looked good, thought the product was good, and for whatever reason I didn't check Keepa, because I don't check Keepa all the time. So I get it home and I'm like, wait, is this a different product? Did I get the wrong listing for it? Only to find out through a Keepa check that in fact it was too good to be true. The rank was really high in Keepa over time and I just didn't happen to look at it. So I personally use Keepa in store now whenever something seems too good to be true, and I still recommend that to any sellers today. If you ever accidentally make a bad buy, just take it back to the store. If you've already sent it into Amazon for FBA, well, it just takes a little bit of learning, and usually those costly, hopefully not too costly experiences do remind us to check things later on in life. So use it as a learning experience, but you can ask for stuff back even from Amazon, or you can just wait for it to sell. When I'm scanning in store, the sales rank is actually the very first thing I look at because that's all that matters to me. If it doesn't have a sales rank or a sales rank I like, I don't even click through to the other page. I want to know that it's a good sales rank and worth it before I spend any more time looking at the product. That is why bestseller ranks, Amazon sell ranks matter. It's also why it's in my free guide and it's free download again on my website. If you are in any of the ungating groups, ungating guides, or you have the beginner FBA selling course, that also breaks it down step by step, literally like I did in this podcast. It breaks it all down. But if you want my free guide, you can get it when you sign up for my email list. Again, the link is below or in the show description. Wherever you're watching or listening, you can grab the link and get the whole, it's like a whole Amazon cheat sheet. So it has different things like what you want to be selling throughout the year, different holiday categories, as well as FBA checklist, and of course that sales rank guide. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will be back next week with another episode and a very special guest who I'm really looking forward to. You can follow and subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast player. Watch the podcast on YouTube at Your Selling Podcast. And as always, you can learn more from me about selling on Amazon at yoursellingguide.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review or comment on YouTube if you're watching it there. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions at all, you can reach out to me at podcast@yoursellingguide.com. Until next week, happy sourcing.